cheapest, wouldn't call it cheap, but the cheapest lehenga was for 8 lakhs.
My goodness, Sabyasachi.
Yeah, Sabyasachi. How did you switch from being a lawyer to now an entrepreneur?
Honestly, everybody says transition, but business has so much legal
Yeah,
that being a
absolutely.
lawyer is, I think, the biggest asset of.
What do you think has led to this change in the consumer's perception?
What Alia Bhatt is wearing today, everybody knows.
Yeah.
So I feel that gap between like a Delhi, Bombay and a tier 1, tier 2 has really reduced. Because no matter wherever you're sitting,
Yeah.
you know what's the latest.
I feel people now want to spend more on experiences. They want to go out more, travel more, than spend on, materialistic things like clothes, or probably they're more practical, like you said, where they don't want to spend like a 2 lakh, 3 lakh on a lehenga or on a sherwani, and they want to like rent it for one night and just wear it and give it back.
Maybe a decade ago, like 15 years ago, they would probably like shy away, no, mama, you should not wear this gown, it might not look good, or what will people say and all that. So now it's the time when you encourage people to do whatever they want to, right?
Hey guys, welcome to my podcast Backstage, where we discuss what it took people backstage to achieve what they've achieved on stage. So, to welcome our guest, let me introduce Aanchal Saini to you. Aanchal is the CEO of Flyrobe, and you must have seen them on Shark Tank recently. They've raised more than $12 million in funding by Secure Capitals and likes. They're valued at more than $22 million today. Wow. And she's a lawyer by profession. So let's hear from the horse's mouth herself. Let's begin. Hey Aanchal, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm happy and glad to be here and sharing whatever I know with you.
Absolutely. I'm sure the audience, so I've already told them a lot about you, but I'm sure they would love to know about you from, you. So please tell the audience a little bit about you and what you do. What does Flyrobe do?
So, of course, I run Flyrobe, which is a fashion rental company. And I've been doing this for almost a decade now.
Wow.
So, we are pioneering the rental space in the country.
Wow.
And personally, I'm a lawyer by profession, worked as a lawyer, Delhi High Court
Yeah.
for 7 years, loved what I did. Then even more, I think I love this even more. Like, it's a passion which I wake up to, that it's fun.
How did that happen? How did you switch from being a lawyer to now an entrepreneur?
So honestly, I always say mine wasn't like a boring corporate law story that I'm really bored, so I need to get some excitement back in my life. No, it was more because of the idea. But honestly, everybody says transition, but business has so much legal that being a lawyer
absolutely.
is, I think, the biggest asset of mine.
Absolutely. And how did you really come up with this idea of Flyrobe and Rent It Be?
Rent It Be,
Yeah,
yes. So when we started, we were very narrow in our approach. We started with only westerns for women and accessories.
Okay.
Though now Flyrobe does occasion wear, the heavy expensive designer wear on rent for men and women both.
Oh,
so
nice.
Earlier it just sparked like women are mocked about, closet is full, yet I have nothing to wear. So literally the problem is that everything in the closet has been worn once.
Yeah.
So we need new clothes to wear.
Correct.
Thanks to social media, thanks to all of those, that once the pictures are there, we want every time we want something new. So that was the idea back then.
Okay.
And we really thought that let's just make it like convenient that you're coming home from work and then there's a new outfit ready that you can go to, wear that and go for a party. Come and just don't even bother about it. Next time you have another outfit ready.
Yeah.
So this is where the thought started. And of course, we understood, I partnered with Jiki and Karan for the technology and
Yeah.
whatever, they bought some superb stuff on the table. So we thought that this has to go massy, pan India, and how will we scale? Technology.
Yeah.
So, we did the app, website, all of those things, renting only westerns then. And as an entrepreneur, we guys have done everything under the sun in terms of fashion, rental.
Yeah.
Be it like a massy dress, like a Zara Mango sort of a thing, or like a Gucci handbag, Prada handbag, or like a Gentle Monster sunglasses,
Yeah.
or watches, or even clutches and jewelry and everything, vacation
Yeah.
packages. So all of those, and I think we were very early in the market.
Yeah.
People couldn't understand rental, and we were doing so much western, and we were doing
Absolutely.
subscription.
There would
Imagine
have been
unlimited
so
clothes.
Much, and there would have been so much, taboo around it, that
Yeah.
why do you wear someone else's clothes, or why do you rent it? Like, how did you really manage that? And, you survived for like a decade.
So honestly, that taboo we've obviously been there since 10 years, talking about how this is cool, etc., etc. But it has taken those 10 years.
Yeah.
No matter how much money we've pumped in the business,
Yeah.
no matter whatever effort we made, but that taboo, it took 10 years for us to, now the audience has completely changed.
Yeah.
I'll say 10 years ago, the audience was aspirational class. I can't afford to buy, I'm renting. Today,
Yeah.
they are the millennials and the Gen Zs, okay? They can very well afford to buy. They can go burn 20, 30,000 in a restaurant, but they think it's wise to just rent and
Yeah.
wear it and give it away. So mindset
Absolutely.
has changed.
Yeah.
And I feel that, these days, the youngies are very smart. They are not emotional too much. They choose practical things. Experience is key
Absolutely.
for them. So all of these factors have led us to renting being very cool now. And also, I think celebrities and influencers have really made an impact.
Yeah.
Like when Sonam Kapoor and Alia Bhatt or Sara Ali Khan or the royalty of Spain, when these guys wear rented clothes, not talk about it, but when they really wear it,
Yeah.
there is a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think earlier, I would say like probably 5-7 years ago, you would pay somebody to just talk about your brand, but now they're actually doing it. So
Yeah.
that is when the real change comes.
Yeah. Yeah. They're leading by example.
Exactly.
So, what do you think has led to this change in the consumer's perception?
So I think one, awareness. Like, what Alia Bhatt is wearing today, everybody knows.
Yeah.
So I feel that gap between like a Delhi, Bombay and a tier 1, tier 2 has really reduced.
Okay.
Because no matter wherever you're sitting,
Yeah.
you know what's the latest trend.
Correct.
So for example, even we've just opened in Raipur, right?
Yeah.
So I would say 10 years ago, Raipur audience would go to the local market and see what's available and they would buy those.
Yeah.
Now they've got the pockets and they know what they want.
Yeah.
So the idea is to get them designers in those cities. And I think we do a win-win job because we get the big designers in these cities
Yeah.
and on rent.
Nice.
So that's the key.
Yeah, and I think sustainability, awareness about sustainability has also, taken precedence today, wherein
100%.
people don't want to go towards fast fashion. They want to reuse things. They want to associate with brands that are like sustainable. I think there also you are creating a huge mark. I remember you telling me about that water percentage that
Yeah,
goes.
yeah,
I would love for you to, kind of share that also with the audience.
Sure. So, like how much water is required to build one ethnic outfit? It's 24,000 liters, which is
My
almost
God.
equal to like a swimming pool.
Oh
That
my
much.
God. Wow.
And when you talk about sustainability, I think the youngsters, they want to do something, but most of the times in terms of fashion, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, they really want to make right choices, but sometimes they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And from the industry point of view, it has really changed. Now the government is talking about sustainability.
Yeah.
This is the new thing.
Yeah.
Like the ministry, they invite us on all the major events and they're really interested in what you're doing. And I feel in this space also, if you remember, you and I having this conversation, when we talk about sustainability, just to add glamour to it, that's a different concept. But here, we really are talking about sustainability and we're also telling you how to save money on that.
Yeah.
So Indian audience, obviously that clicks, right?
Yeah, that
so
clicks.
I think that's where the fit has happened for us.
So how much is the difference? So for example, name a designer that you have, for example.
So we do like a variety. You
Yeah.
look at rentals at Flyrobe, they're 2,000 rupees also and 1.5 lakh rupees also.
So
that's the range we have. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I talk about, I'll give you two examples. Like you're a wedding guest, for example, okay? Then you're spending something between 25,000-30,000 to buy something.
Correct.
That you rent for 3,000-4,000.
Oh wow.
Okay. You're a bride, then your budget could be 1 or 2 lakhs for like a decent designer
Yeah.
lehenga. Then you spend between 10,000-20,000.
Oh, very
You want to
nice.
get a Sabyasachi,
Yeah.
then obviously you up your
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
You can rent a Sabyasachi say from 50,000-80,000 rupees,
Wow.
which is for 5, 7, 8 lakhs. Right?
Absolutely. Today, when I was looking for my wedding, the cheapest, wouldn't call it cheap, but the cheapest lehenga was for 8 lakhs.
My goodness, Sabyasachi.
Yeah,
you're talking about.
Sabyasachi. So I was like, oh, we cannot call that cheap, but out of their range, the lowest was 8 lakhs.
So yeah, when you see at a percentage of the money which is spent on clothes in a wedding. So clothes money, everybody's clothes. Okay, bride and groom are of course the most expensive, but family clothes. So that percentage is high. And when
Yeah.
you look at it, what if we can reduce that and still utilize that money
Absolutely.
for the wedding or for buying gold or for something which is more permanent. Even
Permanent.
memories, I would
Yeah,
feel.
yeah,
Go to
yeah.
a better place for a pre-bachelorette or a honeymoon or whatever, and
Yeah,
create
yeah, yeah.
memories and
Absolutely.
experiences.
I think this generation that we are in right now with millennials and Gen Zs, and also after COVID, I feel COVID has had a huge impact on people. I feel
Yes.
people now want to spend more on experiences. They want to go out more, travel more, than spend on, materialistic things like clothes, or probably they're more practical, like you said, where they don't want to spend like a 2 lakh, 3 lakh on a lehenga or on a sherwani, and they want to like rent it for one night and just wear it and give it back. So I think experiences today also matter a lot
You're
to the
absolutely
people.
right. So, it's both that, yeah, they don't want to spend that much money, but at the same time, the glamour is going up.
Yeah,
Like, the kind of look at 20 years ago, what dress up was during a wedding, and look at now, it's just fancy. So,
absolutely.
when you're even attending a wedding, you want to be dressed in the latest outfit. And why
Yeah,
do you keep spending so much money, right? If you even calculate in 20,000, 30,000, you buy one outfit. How many times you wear it? One time. In the same amount, you rent 10 different outfits. No, same money you're
yeah,
spending, and every time you wear something different and new and whatever.
absolutely. And I think also if I see like a consumer cohort, so I'll just draw an analogy here. So, for example, today you can lease a luxury car, so like a Rolls Royce or an Audi
Sure,
or
yeah.
a Ferrari,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you can lease it for like 10 years and you can return it back, okay? And it's way cheaper than what you would spend
To buy
on
it.
it to buy it, absolutely. But on the other hand, you feel that it's a generation of social media wherein they probably might or might not care about sustainability, or for that matter, anything else, money for that matter, but they want to show like they have like the glamorous things on social media. They want to have that on their feed, and they want to show their friends that, okay, this is what I have, and they that's precisely why they do certain things. Do you think that's also a consumer cohort that's there
Yeah,
today?
you're right. I think show off is one part, and also memories for self is also another part.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine like the beautiful, sexy lehenga that you wore to one wedding last year, and the whole evening you have that memory with you, right?
Yeah.
I looked really nice. I got so many compliments.
Yeah,
So
that's a
that
very nice
memory
point.
is far more important than
Important.
having that lehenga in your closet, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I feel that because trends are so many now, even for men, I feel everybody can be experimental with
Yeah.
rental, and you're not
Yeah.
hoarding it too, right?
Yeah.
It's not that you're buying and you're sticking to it. So you can be experimental, and where we see, so I would say 5 years ago, men were not experimental. Even in rental clothing, they would be the basic stuff, blacks and blues and the standard for weddings, the off whites and all that. But now that has changed.
Yeah.
You look at the men's section and you see so much color, so much variety, the florals and the pastels and whatnot colors. And people are
Absolutely.
really trying out all of
Absolutely.
these things.
Absolutely. And I think rental gives them that freedom also to kind of
Absolutely,
do
yeah.
all of this. I think we see a evolving consumer cohort here, wherein 10 years ago people were not willing to kind of give this a try. Probably today, obviously, with your efforts and with various other things
Yes.
that are there, like awareness, people are now evolving as consumers, and their perceptions are changing towards these things, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another aspect of the same thing. So we're taking the same consumer bracket and leveling up to age. So now what happens, you'll see now the mother of the bride and the father of the bride also renting.
Wow.
Why? Because the mother wants to wear that reception, and she wants to wear the fancy gown on the reception, and she really will not wear it again, right? She's
Yeah.
like, where will I wear it again? I won't wear
Yeah.
it to a kiddie party or a lunch or a dinner.
Absolutely.
And now I feel the younger lot also, that mindset has also changed. Like, when the mother wants to do something, the younger guys, boy or the girl, they are forcing her to do it. They
Yeah.
make sure that she does whatever she wants
Yeah.
to. And I feel from maybe a decade ago, like 15 years ago, they would probably like shy away, no, mama, you should not wear this gown, it might not look good, or what will people say and all that. So now it's the time when you encourage people to do whatever they want to, right?
Yeah.
And with your parents, that happiness they get, okay, fine, I'm going to wear a gown, and you'll be
Yeah.
the biggest cheerleader. Yes, mama, just go for
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
So with stores, we decided to get that audience,
Nice.
the elders, who
Oh, wow.
accompany their children to the store for their rentals, and then they also want to try something for at least one function, two functions, or whatever.
Wow. So I have a very interesting question for you. What if someone spoils their dress? So I bought this designer called Christina. Okay, WT. She is in Shapurjat. Okay,
Okay.
so she told me the story that there was this bride who got like really drunk, and she literally spoiled her entire outfit. Like there was mud all over it. So the entire outfit got like spoiled. So I'm sure there are a lot of brides or like people who rent who might spoil the outfit that they are wearing. What do you do about that? Like, how do you go about that?
So, obviously a normal wear and tear is allowed,
Hmm.
which means obviously you're wearing it, you're dancing, there would be a little mud on the bottom part of the outfit, and then maybe the little bit wine stains here, there you're drinking, you're chilling. So that we clean up, right? So
Yeah.
one thing is, of course, we dry clean the outfit. So
Hmm.
it's all cleaned up.
Yeah.
Little bit of sequin falling off here, there, little bit loose, ends and all.
Ends, yeah.
We fix it. But of course, if somebody completely destroys it, like you put whole haldi on it and it's not repairable, then we do deduct the security deposit that we
Okay.
charge, which is a
Yeah.
refundable amount
Oh,
otherwise.
nice. Okay. Got it. Understood.
So that doesn't mean if you're renting something, you can't have fun and you'll have to be just sitting like that. No, it doesn't mean like that.
Oh, nice. That's a relief. So, Ajal, how big is the company now? Like, how many stores do you have, and how's the turnover like? So, how's it?
So we are 20 stores now.
Okay.
And across pan India, so different cities. So for us now, the business is such that we don't open many stores in one location, one city. Like for example, a Jaipur would have only one store. People would travel. So there's 20 stores, which is recently, phenomenal growth last year. And the idea is to do about 100 stores in the
Wow.
next 24 months.
Wow.
And we are working towards that. And revenue wise, we are growing decently. Like last year, this year, the growth has been 3x.
Wow.
So which is phenomenally decent. Happy. Investors are happy. We are happy. Everybody's
So,
happy.
what has led to this growth, like from last year?
So I think last couple of years have been pent up demand because of COVID. A lot of weddings were like slow. So 2020, of course, nothing. 21, 22 also, you did not see those 1,000 people, 5,000 people weddings happening. A lot of tourists coming in. So that's also big for us. Like, as Flyro, we do about 50, 60, 70 outfits for just one wedding also. When there
Wow.
are huge people from outside, NRIs coming, tourists coming in. So all that was like quite
Yeah.
sad for a couple of years, and that's come back. And plus with stores, of course. See, for example, if you are in the city, if you're an NRI, of course, you can do online. If you're in the city, it's your wedding, you are not ordering online. You want
Yeah.
to go to the store, try it out. Your family and friends are looking at you, giving you a thumbs up, and that's when you rent, right? So with
Yeah.
the stores coming in, that's big for us.
Very
This
nice.
year is going to be even phenomenally well. So that's the idea.
Nice.
That it's a completely omni-channel business where online pushes the offline.
Yeah. That's super nice, yeah. And all the best for your 100 stores. I'm very sure that you're going to achieve it because the idea is brilliant. I think our audience would love to know, how did you, so coming back to your profession now, right?
Yeah.
How did you switch from being a lawyer to an entrepreneur? How was that switch for you? How were you able to manage doing that? Like a lot of people want to take like career switches today, right? But they don't know how to start with it. So what would you kind of tell them?
So I think this answer has to be depends on where you are, what you do. So see, earlier I used to have a very fixed mind that you can never do two things. You can have to jump from one to another. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But again, I feel it depends on where you are. Sometimes you can, because see, for me, I couldn't. Legal is a very demanding profession. Like
Yeah.
there are days that you don't even go home. So it's a very super demanding profession.
Yeah.
So being a lawyer and doing something else actively, it's impossible.
Absolutely.
Completely impossible.
Absolutely.
If you're a lawyer, you can just be making money and then putting money somewhere and be a silent partner. So for me, it was definitely कुछ भी और करना है तो इसको jump करके करना है to stop this and start something.
Yeah.
It was never a parallel transition.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, when they're, for example, it's a steady job, okay, but your hours are limited, that you just work, or days are limited.
Yeah.
And the next thing that you want to do can be a slow progression. Like, you are supposedly doing like 4-5 hours in a day. Your nights are free, or you can devote 5-6 hours to another thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe 5 days a week you're doing this. So rest of the days, like weekends, you do physical stuff for your new venture. Weekdays, you do the home stuff, the online stuff, and all of those things.
Yeah.
Can be a slow transition, and also depends on what age you are at, what are your responsibilities, that's a very big question. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you cannot, like, see, when I started, there was no home responsibility. Literally, money was no problem. Like at home, like it wasn't like, I have to pay the rent, I have to pay the
Yeah,
school fees and all that.
absolutely.
So once that's there, then obviously you need to collect something. So a lot of people, they work, they save up for a year. Okay, fine. Year one, I'm going to juggle as an entrepreneur. If things work out, good. Otherwise, I jump.
Yeah.
So really depends on where you are, but you should start 100%.
Yeah,
Start
absolutely.
without, but you should do it, should try it.
Absolutely.
And I also feel that sometimes having a partner is very important, because the solo travel, you get bored, like they're
Yeah.
stuck, and then that enthusiasm, and
Yeah.
you need to have somebody to pull you out of
Yeah.
that zone of nothing's working, pata nahi kya hoga and all that, right?
Absolutely.
So that is also one thing, that you can probably have an active partner, be passive, be the brain behind it, and have another person who's fully involved, and then slowly progress to jumping from one boat to another.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me also, I started working on my business with my job, like devoting some times to it just so that I have a prototype in place. And then once I thought that yes, I have clients, I know that I can do it. I had confidence. I kind of jumped completely. So definitely that was the journey for me. And like you said about a partner, so obviously there are times where you need someone to rely on. So for example, you're sick and you cannot work, you need someone who can take over with as much passion as you can. So both are absolutely valid points. So how did you take the decision? Like a lot of people kind of not just for entrepreneurship. So for example, someone's in social media, they want to go in economics, or someone is in economics and wants to switch to marketing, for example. How do they really make that decision for themselves that yes, they should take that switch?
So I think for me, had I been anybody, starting a rental business was very new. Had I been anybody, like had I been a management person, had I been anybody, starting this had to be done from scratch, no matter who. And how did I take this decision? Honestly, I was at the hospital where my nanny was on the deathbed. So the hospital was very kind. She was old, she was okay. But they gave us a big room where me, my mom, and my masi, they said, you guys can stay here. So I used to go to court from the hospital, and we used to come back to the hospital and be in that room with her. And it was a nice time. It wasn't sad she's going. We understood that she's going, but we used to feel, okay, fine, we're all together and we're with her. We're looking at her and we're all remembering her old stuff and all that. So that during that time, I think one day I called my husband. I said, Ki, I am quitting my job, quitting what I'm doing, whatever matters I have pending, I'll finish, and I want to jump to this. And it was just a no-brainer. I said, yes, go ahead. And he was obviously an encouragement. He's a partner too. So it was just like I realized probably in the hospital that jo bhi karna hai. Like my that
Yeah.
93-year-old woman died happy and she lived a very good life. So I said I want to live a very good life no matter what,
Yeah.
and that has to be taking decisions at the right time. I
Yeah.
don't want to be like 50 and sulking, kya मैंने करा होता, आज वो वाला business मैं कर रही होती. So many people you hear ना,
Yeah.
मुझे भी same idea आया था but मैंने नहीं किया, आज मेरा होता है and all that, right?
Yeah.
So I said let's just do it. तो सोचना क्या है? And lawyering is a good skill, right? I said 1 year it doesn't work out, I'll go back. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can do my case, I can just go back. It's an
Absolutely.
education degree, it'll always be with me, right?
Absolutely.
But I realized that this was an asset. Being a lawyer and being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur is a superb combination.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. And I think what you speak is regret minimization, wherein, when you're on your deathbed, you don't have regrets that, I wish I had done that. And, I wish, I had started something of my own or taken that switch. Probably my life would have been different.
I have
So
no wishes.
that's a
Like I literally
beautiful
today
thing
I have
that you
no wishes. I
mentioned.
wish I had done. I do everything that I wish.
Yeah, that's
Whatever
a
I want to do, I
beautiful
just do
thing.
it.
That's a beautiful thing, and that's you've put it so well. But I'm sure there must have been some challenges you would have faced, like
Some ask me. I have like pages full of from one, I think it goes to 2000 the
Absolutely.
serial number.
Absolutely. I'm
Every
sure
day
it
was a
takes so
challenge.
much.
Every day.
Yeah. Please tell us a little bit about those challenges that you faced early on, and how did you tackle it? Like you've been in the business. So like we mentioned, it was a difficult business to be in 10 years ago, right? It was a very progressive idea, right? And obviously people didn't understand, consumers didn't understand, in marketing, we always talk about what are the needs of the consumer that, you need to fulfill.
You were trying to create
right?
that
And
need.
you were trying to create that need actually. There was no need at that point of time,
Correct.
right? So I'm sure you must must have gone through like a lot of challenges, but you were able to survive. You were able to acquire Flyro within like few years, right? So how did you overcome them? What kept you going?
So, for us, कुछ तो ठीक होता है ना business शुरू करो. Like, for example, I have a product which is ready. We didn't have that. We didn't have a ready product. We understood it's fashion. People should not waste money in buying things that they don't wear it twice. And what consumers need also was, we didn't know. We had to experiment, understand. Plus, we are doing technology. Usually, what is technology? A manual thing which becomes cumbersome. You build a tech to ease it out.
Yeah.
अपने को manually नहीं पता और हम tech बना रहे हैं साथ में.
Yeah, that too 10 years ago.
That too 10 years ago. So everything was like, देखी जाएगी. That attitude worked very well for us, honestly. Let's do this, दिखी जाएगी. Let's just do this. Let's try. We tried, we failed. We tried, we failed. Of course, that try fail वाली कहानी बड़ी standard boring सी होती है, but in us it हो रहा था हमारे पास. I also say कि don't blindlessly do it. Other people have failed, so don't keep trying what people have failed, right?
Yeah.
But हमारा precedent क्या था? International players थे. Indian players नहीं थे, कोई था ही नहीं. We were the pioneering. So, for example, had we built like a Mastige website, like a Amazon or a Myntra, हमारा product ऐसा होता, तो हम देखते हैं चाहे Myntra ये कर रहा है, let's just put इसको better कर लेते हैं और नया बना देते हैं. कुछ भी नहीं था ऐसा. International landscape बहुत फर्क है. वो जैसे garments है, जैसे उनके कपड़े हैं, that's very different than what Indian audience resonate to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, as I mentioned that, we started with westerns and accessories, and that's not even any product at the moment. And I really have a very, very strong feeling that it'll come back. We will be doing the vacation where we will be doing the unlimited clothing rentals in a month sort of a thing. We will be doing all of that, but that's future. Currently, it's then we realized कि unorganized market में ethnics, that's real rentable asset. वो चाहिए, awareness चाहिए. There were mom and pop stores renting ethnic garments, but people like you and I were not entering those stores. Why? Very, very standard problems. Hygiene, number one. You go to a store, it smells. It's your wedding. You'll just be like, never. You'll walk out. You'll rather pay the money and not get a smelly outfit, right?
Yeah.
So I think hygiene was number one. Kind of clothing was number two. No designer labels, very local, ancient-looking things. All of these things, we realized it's a problem.
Yeah.
And then when we want to do mass renting, कि पूरा India rent कर रहा है, तो technology तो चाहिए ना. So, you could do 10, 20, 30 orders manually. When you're doing like 500, 700, 1000 orders a day, you need technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus awareness. Today we say we've got stores, but 70% people discover us online and then they come to the stores.
Yeah.
So all of these were challenges. Like first, number one, the day we launched our website, we had put like I think little Facebook ad, and in a span of 4 hours, we received about 70, 80, 90 that number orders. And we were very happy. Oh my God, as a pura Delhi party pe ja raha hai, everybody is ordering from Flyro, Rented Bay that time. But we realized 70% people, 90% orders, they thought they bought those products. They were not used to rentals. 10 years ago, website pe online ordering was also that time just transitioning to people who were offline to offline.
Absolutely.
Online chal raha tha, right? So everybody thought they bought those things. And then we had to put the website out, and then we had to put rent bigger, like rent.
Yeah.
Honestly, then I used to take 10 minutes to make anybody understand what we do. 10 minutes समझाना पड़ता था कि rent, कपड़े rent, so much. So challenges were umpteen. Structuring teams, products, categories.
Yeah.
What kind of products? A lot of products, brand new products we've got. One time it's gone, and one wash, one rent, one dry cleaning, it goes off. Color nikal gaya, kapda phat gaya, and all that, right? So many things we've understood. We put processes in place.
Yeah.
That's most important. Years of learning has been put into technology and processes.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about all of these things, these are more like business challenges for you, right?
Sure.
As a person, okay, transitioning from a lawyer to like a completely different entrepreneurship kind of a hustle, right? Transitioning, within your comfort zones. Like obviously it was something out of your comfort zone at that point of time, right? What were the challenges you faced as an individual? And how did you overcome them? A lot of entrepreneurs today face these same challenges. I have friends who kind of call me and ask, Akriti, how do we switch to doing a business? What if this happens? What if that happens? And I'm sure a lot of people kind of resonate to that story. So what is it that you faced, and how did you really overcome it?
So I think as a person, I'm very hands-on in terms of whatever I was doing earlier also. Like, as a lawyer, you always have help around. Like,
Yeah.
but even if then also there's no help, I don't mind doing things on my own. I never did it. Never did earlier. So I also, luckily, I got experience as a lawyer. I was a founding member of Delhi International Arbitration Center, which was an institute. So we started that. So that's how from zero to 10,000 matters, I learned how to, make process and
Yeah.
build a structure.
Yeah. You
So that helped.
experimented.
And plus, see, as an entrepreneur now, for example, even if corporate world is very different than this, okay, you are sitting in your own plush office doing this thing, nobody's like that, but here it's hard, okay.
Yeah.
Even if you're like a restaurant owner, for example, you was in the restaurant, there's a problem, you come at the table and you address it. Even if there's a shouting customer, you address it, right?
Yeah.
So from you need to juggle roles. That's what. Like, okay, fine. Today I'm the top boss sitting with you doing this podcast. Tomorrow there could be a problem that I'm at the warehouse and they need hands, and I would be the one doing things with them also. So I think that's important.
Yeah.
That you should be willing to take off your fancy coat and get into the dirty job also.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that, I think, is a skill everybody should have, no matter where you are, whether
Absolutely.
you're working as a whatever or as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So that switch, the only thing I missed was the money. Really missed it
Yes,
a lot.
absolutely.
That was one major thing, and I think everything else has been fine. More
Yeah.
interesting, like.
It's paying off now.
Yes, but then those years,
Yeah,
and when you
yeah.
see your friends getting those fat checks, okay, this one's become a partner at this law firm, oh my
Oh,
god, this much
wow.
salary and all that, and you're like, oh shit, why am I so poor, still so poor? You feel like that, definitely
Yeah.
you do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think only that part, but here the super part is that I am a person, I love, like, no 2 days are the same. It's not 10 to 5, same boring
Yeah.
days every day. No, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Today I'm sitting with you, we're having this conversation, tomorrow kuch aur hoega.
Yeah.
So, that's the
Absolutely.
interesting part. But of course, downside is sometimes you have a very important family function and you're not there because you're doing something else, and that has to be done too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Achal, what advice would you want to give to like budding entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs to, kind of start their business?
I think the younger lot, just do it. Don't think much, just do it. And like a little bit elders who've got home responsibilities also, please, please, please get help at home. That job is literally not rewarding. Your time is limited. So either you can do this, you are not a superwoman, you cannot be a superwoman, you try to be a superwoman, you'll completely go off. Okay.
Yeah.
So do things which matter the most to you.
Yeah.
So, I have this thing called hot list, okay? So, because to-do list is itta labba, which has personal things also, business things also. So, I always pick 5 things out of depending on my energy. Today,
Yeah.
I have super energy, I'll pick 20 and put it in my hot list.
Yeah.
But that hot list too, it has to be ticked by the end of the day.
Yeah.
You got less energy, put 2. While you do those 2 things, mark my words, you'll get energy to do 2 more.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I feel get enough help and support
Absolutely.
and go ahead.
Absolutely. I think that's a brilliant advice. Completely resonate with the point that, a lot of things have to change at home. You need to get like support and help from people, right?
And you need to ask for it. I'm sorry, but you
Absolutely.
need to be asking for it. So
Absolutely.
many women I meet, they're like, all this, ki aisa hai, waisa hai. Arey, make an effort, ask for it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't speak for yourself, who will?
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
and for example, I'm doing this podcast or, certain other things that I'm doing. It would have been impossible had I not had the support of my husband, his family, my family, both the families together, right? And had I not had help at home, probably to manage things. So absolutely, brilliant points, I
And
think.
also, I think as an entrepreneur, your main job is to create more jobs, right? So create jobs, start from home, create more jobs at home
Yes.
so that you can do better at work.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, Aanchal, for coming here and giving these brilliant, insightful things. I'm sure the audience must love each and every bit of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Akriti. It's a brilliant platform where, you connect with so many people and you're doing a fantastic job. Kudos to you.
Thank you so much. So guys, I hope you liked the conversation and got a lot of insights out of it. So follow, share and subscribe and stay tuned to more such episodes coming your way.